you think that one mole is the proper amount or too much? I'm gonna lean towards too much.
What would you say is better?
Probably like the one hit we had. That's probably like the perfect amount.
It would be useful.
Huh?
That was extremely useful.
It was, yeah. It's so hard to make myself do a half of one. It's so unsatisfying.
Yeah, it's just like with the full bowl right there.
Yeah. Okay, so I've had like pretty good results, like pretty damn good results with swapping. Like better than I expected results. Like almost like this is what it's meant to be the whole time, which is funny, real funny stuff. Swapping 1 and 2, and then 4 and 5, but we need to figure out a way to get that into the story. So like all that, like we were talking about before, obviously the first 3 steps are completely and totally included in the story. It's like the point of the fucking story. Oh, I was just thinking about this. Do we straight up tell the orb story through the perspective of the lizard? Do we want to do that? It gets a little gay and like super meta, like triple, double, quadruple meta, but it's also like, it's fine. It's kind of cool. The story's a good story.
We could do that. One idea that comes to mind is we could do a retelling of it. That's not necessarily him in like a fantasy story doing it, where it could be instead be the same deal where he is in that world, and then the intergalactic species comes, and they essentially serve as the god. So it's an interdimensional species of aliens that are highly advanced and highly technological, and they have this orb, which would be, and they would be seen as gods to these creatures.
No, I don't like that, because then we're getting to like actual like, holy fucking shit, we're in the Matrix. Like, we're getting to levels of like, within, we're getting to this level where you have a character who simulates infinity, and within that infinity, there's a character who knows he is in infinity, because there's an alien race which also is simulating infinity. So it's like, you've got like, and then within that, you know, you like then you have to somehow explain that like the consequences of the infinity within the infinity that you're dealing with in the story. Like, you're getting into like.
Well, I mean, I guess would it not be a natural result of an infinite simulation that there would also be an infinite simulation in the infinite simulation?
Obviously, they're going to be infinite simulations in the infinite simulation. Obviously, they're going to be infinite simulations within the infinite simulation. The issue is not with their. It's with. First of all, it's with the people reading. It gets like to levels of like, okay, this is just silly now. We're not even like levels of like meta. We're in levels of like, I can't even show my mother this because her brain would collapse.
Yeah, and I was like, at that point, might as well just condense it down into one.
Exactly.
Simulation.
And then also, I don't like that because I want the lizard to come up with it from lore. I don't want the lizard to copy it from alien species. I want the lizard to come to those conclusions specifically through abstract horror.
Yeah.
Are you sure we're recording? We have like the audio is visible.
It is moving, yes.
All right, let's see how we lose it this time. So yes, well, I definitely wanted to experience the abstract horror. So now, but you're saying do go ahead and read. So let's go ahead and just run through the plot real quick and see how that looks. So we start out with the scientists, and the scientists are like, ooh, look at us, we done got the equation, the government done sponsored us, and we done did it. We got there, we got in the base of the universe. We discovered what was before the Big Bang. And what was before this Big Bang was this one equation. From this equation, we're not exactly sure what it does, but we understand this is sort of a synonym for God. This equation is a synonym for God, and it's where we came from. So we're going to plug this into a computer, and we're going to try and perfectly simulate the beginning of existence. And then what they find immediately is that, first of all, they find that they need the biggest computer that they've ever built. And then second, they find that once they build a computer that's finally large enough to simulate this, that it doesn't seem like their universe. They don't perfectly simulate their universe. The equation starts perfectly simulating everything at the same time. And on the power, like on a computer, what that registers as is like, I still don't know how we should do this. I still don't know. Is it going to be like you get random glimpses of different infinities? I don't like that. I would like it to be perceived through linear time, but then that gets whacked because it's like why does the equation recognize linear time? It really wouldn't. And if it does recognize linear time, then how are you seeing multiple dimensions? Wouldn't you just see one dimension over millions of years? So then you solve that by saying that you see multiple dimensions at the same time. Do you solve the time dilemma by essentially just saying that the computer is the thing which, like, basically because the computer was built within a physical universe, that it's likely to demonstrate the universes from a linear perspective, because it, like, in other words, it's not that the equation is inherently linear. It's that because the humans are observing the infinity from a linear perspective, that the computer must put it into those sort of parameters. It's only
if it's simulating a certain piece of data, it would also be able to simulate the past and present of that data and to know how it came to be there.
Not necessarily, but it could. I agree that it could. And yes, I mean, basically, yeah. So I mean, I think we can basically just write away the linearity by just saying, like, that's the constraints of the computer, not the equation. But then as far as, like, how is it simulated? Are we going to see multiple universes at the same time? Are we going to see one universe till the end of its time that's played in, a million times speed? Or are we going to, like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as far as the actual logistics of that,
I've always leaned in the direction of, like, you've got 5 different universes all being simulated at the same time, and they're all in, like, ridiculous speed, so that you can comb through them. But I don't like that metaphysically. It doesn't make any sense metaphysically. It's kind of just nasty things metaphysically.
It seems like the most natural thing would just be going from the beginning of the end to the universe, while participating in every life of that universe simultaneously.
But then things start getting real wacky. At that point, shouldn't we just start simulating random Zix's perspectives?
So just like one life at a time, so like one person doing this, one person doing that.
Yeah, and then we get down to a question, now you're saying something real nasty, which is that Zixes are different, and they aren't. But, I mean, I guess you could maybe make the claim that the computer can differentiate between them, because, like, they are at least different enough data sets that they can be separated by a computer, you know what I mean? Like, maybe the raw data they get back from the equation is just like, if you tried to explain the experience of dirt to the average person, you know what I mean? You can't really do that. Like, it's too complex. But that's basically what they were getting from the machine, is like abstract signals that they couldn't really make any sense of until they put it within the parameters of linearity, however you'd say that. That gave them at least results that they could understand and comb through. So basically, we can kind of write away any of the metaphysical statements by just saying that it's based on the parameters of the computer, based on the parameters that the scientists set it to simulate. So specifically so that they and the average person could understand the results. But then still, how much is being simulated at a time? What is it? Individual Zixes? Is it every Zix at a time in a given universe? Because no matter how we cut it, it starts getting weird. Why are you cutting it there?
Yeah. And like then like and this has to also tie into the actual, how does the acythrial experience the lizard? So it presumably wouldn't be, I mean, it could be him exploring all sides of the war and noting.
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I don't even want that though. Yeah, weird.
Versus him just being him.
But honestly, that could be cool too. You just pick one main character. Because at least, honestly, that could make sense as well, because you could have him experience every side of the war and
see how everyone crumbles except for this one dude.
Well, yeah, not just that, but then also it still makes sense for him to be the main character because he comes up with the 2 other steps in the framework. No, he comes up with the initial Zix A's, and he comes up with thought textures frameworks and just the last tier, the one that's whatever you call it. And basically, because of that, because he comes up with that system, then he would be the main character regardless, because he's the one that Scythian was interested in. Somehow this man literally got like the 3 tiers of the computer without even understanding that he is within it.
Yeah.
So, uh, I don't care then which way it goes. I don't care if he does see everything or doesn't see everything, but I don't know which way I want it to be. I would lean no. I would lean individual Zix's perspectives. And then yet again, it gets wacky. Why? And right, we can just...
I mean, it could be like specifically like the simulation is essentially like an AI. You can ask it to do anything. So
That's,
like,
that's what I meant with like the parameters.
Yeah, so the equation is essentially is like for us, we want to experience the lives of other beings like us. Across.
Oh, that is so cool. You can literally just say, you can literally just say that we trained a neural net to find experiences most similar to our own. Like
Yeah.
that straight up. That's it. That's the whole explanation.
Yeah.
Which makes perfect sense. Do we want to make the neural net get better over time? And then say that in the beginning, acythrial was experiencing very bizarre, abstract things? And we
Or I would say perhaps the exact opposite. It gets worse over time, and perhaps it begins to show him more universes that he might not be ready for.
The issue with that, I don't mind that. The issue with that is then you're getting into weird territories with other people. Like, if the simulation starts to degrade by the time it gets to the masses, then it seems like it would make more sense if the simulation is getting better over time and the government is like training for that specifically so that they can get it out to the masses eventually.
Yeah.
Also, that way we can explore like the most base, like weird metaphysical things in the very beginning of the book to make it interesting, which I like. The idea of him being a baby and simultaneously experiencing being a bacteria, like that's just cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we had a reason for him being a baby, it's because he's a perfect clone, and that guy basically is like, I know what I'm doing this to myself. I don't want to simulate myself as an adult, then he'll know I'm me, and everything will just get weird. I need him to be a baby so I can form him and shape him. And I don't put him in simulation yet. It's first like, what age do we want to put him in? And why at that age?
I don't know. We'll look at the cycles of development.
What is it?
We'll look at the stages of development. See if there's like an age that would make sense for that.
Yeah, look it up too, is that?
So I would say at least past age 3, because that's after they form a sense of autonomy. So you probably want an individual experiencing the simulation.
But that's Dewey?
What's that?
Dewey?
I mean, that's possible, and that's one explanation we could give. But
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Honestly, at this point, I kind of am leaning toward just straight baby. But then it's like, there's got to be like parameters. He can't. I don't know. It doesn't seem like. Let's see. What would I do?
I mean, if you could choose, I mean, yeah, it's like you go into the heavenly Goo Goo Gaga lands, and you just go like have the most pleasant baby experience you could possibly have.
But I don't think they can do that, right?
I don't know. But if they could ask for things that are most similar to the witness, then it would be things most similar to a baby. Though it might also be like this, if they're having like a crying meltdown, then it might also show them a very terrible place.
What if the scientists start making simulations for the baby themselves? What does that start introducing?
Well, say that again? What was it?
The scientists start making simulations for the baby themselves. They take a universe that they thought was good, which how do they even know? They can't know the experience. They can only like watch it on a screen, so things start getting wacky there. But they try and engineer experiences for the baby while he's a baby, and then when he gets older, then they start putting him through the real rigmarole.
So they do a fake simulation?
Yeah, it's not like you can pick which part of the simulation you want. It's like you can pick heaven. But they take something that they think would be like heaven, and they take it, and then within the machine they change the code, they mod it, so that it's even better, and then they try to hand that to the baby when he's 0.
I feel like it kind of complicates the story of having now a fake simulation and now a real simulation. Like, what does that mean?
It does, maybe too much. Yeah, you're right. I think about this question, and then we'll come back to it after a minute or two or so. What would you do if you were the guy, the general? If you just cloned yourself as an infant, and you knew all of humanity was at stake, and that this was the result of all of your life and all of the resources of humanity for the past 1,000 years, and you knew that you and this thing, which is basically you, slash your child, slash your project, slash the pinnacle of human existence, is at stake of being killed if you do one thing wrong, what age would you introduce that thing to the simulation?
I would say,
because you wouldn't want it to be.
And it with the assumption that no matter what, if you're going to show them the simulation, they're also going to see bad things.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to leave it as completely random. In other words, if you add that it's manipulatable, then you have to add that you can completely change it and make fake simulations. You can't say that you can choose heaven, and also saying that you can choose heaven just janks everything out. Makes it well, then why would the human population even collapse? They just experience heaven. I guess you would say a heroin type thing, but now we're getting a whole different type of story of anti. What is the philosophy of just only seeking pleasure? I can't believe hedonism. Jesus, I cannot believe I did not remember that. But yeah, then you're making an anti-hedonism book, which isn't exactly the direction we're going. So yeah, yet again, what age? I think 5. I think probably 5, because you want the most control. You want to be the most manipulatable, but then also you don't want.
Right, yeah, and so I mean, and if we do something where it's it is seeking the worlds that are most similar to that being, then at those earlier ages it would show them simpler worlds, not necessarily good worlds, but simpler worlds.
Yeah.
And I would say around age 5, that does seem to be after they form a sense of autonomy and a sense of initiative.
But then here's another question. I don't know if I would want that. I truly don't know if I might start him as a baby. Not just from strictly the perspective of I don't want you to develop an ego that gets crumbled. I don't want to have to deal with you being a 5-year-old first, and then going in and then complaining about what it used to be like to be a 5-year-old. I don't want you to even know what it's like to be a 5-year-old. I don't even want you to be influenced by being a human. I want you to be the rawest, most uncontaminated product I can possibly get.
So then there would be that would be an interesting character trait where he's specifically not trying to create a human, and he's trying to take out all the human
He's trying to turn
of
himself into God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. And now we finally have a reason why he's a baby.
Yeah.
Why is it a baby?
We found out it's a baby because the general who's in charge of the project, has cloned himself. So it's not actually a baby, it's just the man himself cloned, and he's cloned himself as a baby specifically so that he can put himself in the position of God.
Or at least he can create a new God, and that new God will be him.
Yes. His DNA will become the pinnacle of humanity.
This is what, by the way?
A little story.
Little project.
A little narrative.
Yeah, you and Ryan have one going on too, right? Iron Skies.
Yeah. All these stories in the writing.
Okay, so we have reasons for that. We have. I don't do Minecraft Hardcore. I'm talking about Minecraft. Yeah. That'd also be fun to just.
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe like a better parkour game doesn't exist.
Well, there are those like that one that the streamers play and stuff that are kind of like that.
Yeah, but wait. Yeah, but that came out a few months ago, and that still's got the feature where if you die, like,
Yeah, and I don't.
6 hours.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Minecraft parkour was kind of the same.
I mean, if you could easily make a movement shooter / parkour game, and like they kind of do parkour and movement shooters, but then
The issue with that is now I do agree with Ryan, where like the developers would have to do so much work. You have to make the map so big.
Yeah, but it'd be awesome.
It would be. And you could do a style like get to the orange door where it's like super
Yeah,
minimalistic.
you're trying to go somewhere and there's stuff in the way.
Well, not just that, but I mean visual style. So it's like it's not as complicated as trying to program individual realistic object. You just have like orange slab, that it should take 2 seconds to just move the assets around.
Yeah, and you wouldn't like make it realistic. I mean, you'd say it's just something crazy going on.
But yeah, that is rather shocking. Yeah, it is weird to see that like truly games don't come out rational. Like same thing with like Mario Kart, where it's like that's a very popular game and there just is no PC equivalent. Like that's not like rational. That's completely like constricted by like specific market things. You know what I mean? Like it's very weird.
Yeah, especially with like how popular Mario Kart is.
Well, that's what I mean. Where it's like that genre, people want to play that genre. I would like to play that genre on PC, but that just doesn't exist. So it's like that's not natural. And I wonder. I mean, Nintendo is bad about lawsuits and stuff, but I can't imagine. Like I said, Sonic Racer Frontiers is a thing.
There's nothing about the idea of racing that the other
Could
games
copyright.
couldn't do.
Yeah. Well, like Ryan said, you know that Dark and Darker game got sued because they used the concept of breaking doors.
Wasn't it more like they used the assets of another
They
game?
used the assets, but from what I heard, they couldn't even get them on the assets claim, so they moved to the claim of, well, you copied our idea of a dungeon game where you can break doors. That's what they moved to.
I'm sure the courts were like, oh yeah, definitely do.
But so you know, like loading screen mini games are copyrighted. Do you know that?
Loading screen? What does that mean?
It means like so. Used to on old games, you could let's say you were playing Skyrim, and then you go through a door, and then that door has to load the next environment, right? Well, on old systems, they would just put mini games there. They would just put like, oh, you can just play Tetris or like some mini game or like some runner like Flappy Bird. You can play that on the loading screen while we load your game.
Yeah.
That got copyrighted. We live in a world where loading screens are boring because someone copyrighted.
Is it because like you can't do Flappy Bird because it's someone else's game?
No, listen to what I'm saying. Someone copyrighted the ability to do mini games on loading screens.
So someone else can do it, but not it.
Yeah,
How did that even happen?
that's what most of our world is, dude. Fucking people not being able to do the most obvious competent thing because someone else is like, no. No, I'm good.
So like, what if you make your own minigame?
Nope. You're copyrighted. They'll strike you down.
And they've copyrighted other games?
Yeah, look it up right now. This is a very popular
The
thing.
game?
Huh?
What do I look up?
Look up loading screen minigame copyright.
It's inspired.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, then why aren't games use that?
They forgot about it.
I wonder if the industry just got so used to it. It's ruined.
Been decades of games where you could have done stuff during the loading screen.
And it sounds like the fact that the patent's been up for almost 10 years now means the fact that we're still dealing with it because the industry is just so used to not doing it.
As they want.
It's ruined it even for the future after the patent's expired. That's terrible.
Well, it's not the whole building I like.
No, not at all.
Well, that's an interesting comment. Someone says that a lot of games these days don't have enough loading times to justify it.
That is true too. That we missed the 20 years in development
Yeah.
that actually mattered where it hasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure those days where I was spending on the Wii waiting would love to.
Dude, especially this time. Half of that game.
Yeah. It's insane playing it on this computer.
It just snaps through
Yeah,
every
you
loading
just
screen.
you can go there. It opens up the game.